today I have my special guest. She's a busy woman's cheerleader, purpose coach, serial entrepreneur, speaker, humanitarian, passionate, anti-homelessness advocate, and NPO founder. No other than Miss Cindy Rag. Welcome, Miss Cindy on Entrepreneurship 101. And can you please introduce more about yourself that I missed?
No, you didn't miss anything. So, you
Mhm.
know what? I'm good. You didn't miss anything. Thank you for having me.
Yes, and thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world. Thank you. I think you are a leadership development advisor as well as an author and C-suite executive. Oh, too many has Miss Cindy. Congratulations.
Oh,
As well as a
gosh.
progressive company culture expert. And today let's talk about being serial entrepreneur. After nearly 30 years in corporate world, what was the moment you really realized that the security of that path was actually costing you something more valuable, like your purpose or your peace?
Wow. Goodness. In all honesty, it started when my daughter was much younger. I think she was somewhere around 9 or 10 years old. And I had like this epiphany about her age and how our lives were basically wrapped around me going to work and school and her going to school and her activities. At that time, we weren't taking, like vacations or, doing things together. It was like a clock, like being on a
Mm-hmm.
hamster wheel. And it's like I've always known um, like you're destined for more or for greater, but you're working your field. I was an accountant. I've been an accountant for almost 30 years. I still actively practice. And for the most part, that's where it started because I work with a lot of businesses, some of those that are high net worth clients. They have an accountant, they had an accountant at the time through our firm. And a lot of them had um, the monetary means, but didn't have the idea or the business savvy as to how to put it together. So what was happening is on my free time, as a freelancer, in addition to working with the firm, I was working with a lot of those people to help them start businesses. And then it was to a point where they refer other people and they refer other people. And they were doing well. I would take my fee, and move on. Now, in hindsight, looking back at it, with years and years of wisdom and time put into that, is like, I need to now use my brain for not so much as the interim, but for longevity, for a long term, for my next generation, for my children's children, that type of thing. And so during that time, again, looking back in hindsight, it's like, man, had I just taken like a percentage more so than a flat fee, I probably wouldn't have to work so hard now, you know. But I always say never become complacent. So that's like my middle ground where I'm constantly, working on something different, but it goes back to all good and perfect gifts come from above. So I don't take credit for being able to open businesses or help people to start businesses, scale them or grow them or what have you. I look at that as a divine gift.
Mm. A defined gift for
Mhm,
sure, Miss
mhm.
Cindy. So you known as a busy woman cheerleader, but before you became that, who was cheering for you when you were contemplating leaving a decades-long career to start something unknown?
You know, I'm a firm believer that you really truly have to be your biggest cheerleader. A
True.
lot of times, even with your inner circle, people don't have, I would say, what I was considered like radical faith. They don't
Mm-hmm.
have um, that radical faith or that confidence because people like to stay safe. I'm more of like
True.
a free spirit oftentimes. And though I
Mm-hmm.
do like safety, I
Yes.
am willing to take chances when my heart is settled that this is something or an opportunity that I should seize. It doesn't, negate from the fact that you work double, triple time. It doesn't negate from the fact that oftentimes, you become stressed. But again, it goes back to, all right, who gave me this idea? my destiny driver, my heavenly father gave me this idea. So a lot of times when you find yourself spinning your wheels, trying to figure out how it's going to be funded, how you're going to do this, how you're going to do that, and how you're going to market, you have to go back to the originator of the information to get more instructions and insight as to what to do next and how to move forward.
Mm. Very well said, Miss Cindy. When you left the corporate structure, what was the single scariest thing about no longer having a title, a predictable paycheck, or predefined role?
All of the above. But,
Mm-hmm.
it's amazing for me because I remember during that time, I was due an insurance settlement. And my biggest thoughts, a lot of times, even now, if I were to receive a lump sum, or I'll say when I receive lump sums from whichever capacity, my thought is always, okay, how do I invest this so that it brings me more money? I'm
Mm.
just not one that'll go and buy one time things unless it's something small, because I'm constantly thinking about ways to make money work for you. Money is a tool. So I'm not interested in going and getting $1,000 outfit, or a $10,000 purse, because it's going to depreciate and it's going to become
Yes.
null and void. So I'm interested in investing in things, whether I have, a small amount to invest or a large amount to invest. And there's been times where I rubbed two nickels together to make that dollar, to make whatever that business was, to start for myself, before either selling it or moving past it, to something else. But that's always my thought, is how do I turn this little into more? How do I make it basically transition into money that returns back to me, instead of money that I spent throughout the window, per se?
Mm-hmm. Well, interesting, Miss Cindy. Yeah, the entrepreneurial pivot, building on multiple ventures. You founded multiple initiatives: the Busy Woman's Network, Tribe 360, A Grateful Mind International. How do you different ventures speak to different parts of who you are, and how you decide which one you need to attention on any given?
Well, I would say the common denominator of anything that I do is service. I serve, whether it's as a C-suite executive, or a person helping with ministry and outreach and evangelism. I serve. So one of the common denominators of everything that I've noticed over the years that I put my hands to, it's to help benefit someone else, but I'm growing with them. It's some type of service. That's what I'm interested in doing most, is to be able to serve. I think that's what we're basically, purposed to do. That's what everybody's created to do, even though a lot of times people take the selfish route and it's me, 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 me. But eventually you crash and burn, and you realize, you have to open your hand and extend something out for something to come back in. So having all of those different elements of things to do, all of them bring me great pleasure, because I'm helping someone in different capacities. Even with the accounting, I'm helping people, you know, with a grateful mind, humanitarian efforts, I'm helping people. The missions, that I take part in, I'm helping people. The Busy Woman's Cheerleader, the Busy Woman's Network, Thrive 360, mind, body, spirit, and finances. That's helping somebody. The difference that I see, or the way I differentiate between the difference of those different elements of business or enterprises, is the fact that you're helping different groups of people,
Mm.
but holistically, you're helping people.
And we salute you for doing that, Miss Cindy. Helping other
Thank
people is
you.
priceless. Creating those business, for sure you are helping people out there. Serial entrepreneurs often say that starting the first business is about courage, but the subsequent ones about clarity. How's that been your experience?
Oh gosh, the first one, I don't even want to tell you what year. I think it's out on the internet somewhere, my first one. But
Mm-hmm.
it went back to wanting to do something different, with the time that I had left before my daughter became an adult and a teenager.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a big leap of faith. It worked well until I sold it. I decided to just take a different route and sell it. Again, I always enjoy serving people, working with people. Genuinely love people. I just don't always love the things that they do. or say. But this was a brick and mortar. This was before you had like the online platforms, the internets, that you can reach mass people. This was just an inner city, but people would come from other cities, outlying cities, order things, and then I'm shipping it out, from that particular location. But that first one, I know it shocked a lot of people because again, it was brick and mortar. It's completely different now to start a business. You've got some people, even now I have some clients, and I do a lot of, I'm a guest speaker for a lot of events, empowerment, teaching, speaker, teacher, I've been called all kind of things. But one of the main things that I tell them is seize the opportunities and use the resources that you have now, because these resources allow your span to go far beyond your front door, your back door, your yard. You're able now with the resources and the internet to reach the world versus brick and mortars. A lot of times you're dealing with what's right in front of you. In the older days, now your brick and mortar can also be in other global areas, in other cities, in other countries, because you can ship out to these areas. You can, you'll have people reach you. The internet made the world smaller, even though the world is still large. It made it
Mm.
smaller. So the clients that we have, or the people that I deal with, coaching them with brick and mortar businesses to help them expand into cyberspace. That's a completely different dynamic. But if you've got the proper structures and systems in place, then you can take that and duplicate it, take it and duplicate it, take it and duplicate it, or delegate the responsibilities while you're working on one thing, get somebody else to work on something else. But it's still all going in towards, the same pot, the same purpose. And that's a way to grow and scale right where you are without having to mass produce or go get, extra loans or different things like that to basically move from point A to point B in your business.
You focus on helping women thrive in mind, body, spirit, and finances. What's the personal experience where you realize these four areas could not be separated? They could not be financially successful but spiritually bankrupt. Miss Cindy.
Oh gosh, I think it's a culmination of my own life.
Yes.
It's for me, it's almost like common sense. Again, as an accountant, I work with a lot of people who are concerned with getting wealth. But then you're telling me on the back end how your health is declining, how this is hurting, and that's breaking down, and this is breaking down. And so, again, just as an advisor during the course of time, as an accountant, I'm telling them, well, you got to take care of yourself, and you've got to balance the two. You can't pursue wealth and let your health go down, or one and let the other go down. So with the Busy Woman's Cheerleader, being that cheerleader for women, from all walks of life, primarily it's like, okay, I'm so strong and headset on holistic living, mind, body, spirit. The accounting portion of me and my mindset is like, listen, when my money is screwed up, I can't function. I can't function to balance this or to balance that. It's like, I need for everything to thrive, everything to flow. Now, mind you, it does not always work that way. But make a conscious, intentional effort to balance all of those dynamics so that you are whole.
Mm, certainly. So, Miss Cindy, as a serial entrepreneur, you've launched multiple ventures. Was there one that failed and did not take it off as expected?
Of course. Of course. Of
Of
course.
course.
Listen, you made my head itch. Of
Mm,
course. Of course.
yes, of
But
course.
this is the thing. This is the thing. My father once told me, because I don't want to say complaining because I really try not to complain, but I was venting about some frustrations, and bless his heart, he was really he's not now as he's gotten older. It's like they'll give you one sentence or one word, and it's like sticks with you. But I was talking about successes and failures, and I'll
Mm-hmm.
never forget my dad told me. He said, you never fail until you stop trying.
True.
He said, if you continue to try, you're going to win by default, just because you continue to try. And I'm getting emotional behind that because to this very day, I tell myself that. I tell myself that to this very day because I keep showing up, because I keep trying, because I keep pushing, because I keep pursuing better. I'm going to win and be victorious by default. By default. You know, the
By
battle is
default.
already won. It's like a fixed fight. You just got to show up. And sometimes, as a leader, the hardest part is to show up because you're tired, because you're frustrated. You're dealing with your life, lifing, as people say these days. But there's a dedication behind it, there's growth behind it. And it's almost like, Kentucky Fried Chicken, where they, talk about finger licking good. You're thinking about, you take a ticking, a beating. A lot of times as leaders, we take brutal beatings behind the scene to
Yes.
straighten up and put that face on for our team. It's okay. We've got it. We're still winning. We're still fighting. We're not out of the game. We're still fighting. So it's like,
Yes.
you take a beating and you keep ticking. You
Yes.
keep take a beating and you keep ticking. So that's how I look at successes and failures now. They all go
Hmm.
hand in hand. And then at this stage in life, I'm more on, again, divine alignment. I used to ask the question a lot, man, do I contend and fight for this to work, or do I step back and let it go? You have to have strong discernment and understanding, and again, divine insight to understand when you need to take your hands off of something because it's not meant to be, or when you need to contend and continue to push and fight. And all of that for me comes from that relationship. You have to have a relationship with the person who has already written your story. So me and the Heavenly Father is like, I don't want to say I get on his nerves, but we have like this dialogue because sometimes my circle could not, oh my God, they can't take it. I can take all of their information and all of their highs and their lows and their woes. But if I really open my mouth and let the team know and let everybody know all those beatings I take behind the scenes, straighten up my shoulders and still move on, they couldn't take it. It's like, oh my God, are you serious? Yes. Yes. It's a lot that goes into, I will say, the structures, processes, and foundations before the world ever sees it. And a lot of times it is a brutal beating, but it's also a brutal lesson. And you learn from that. If you go through something that's, I would say, of ill repute, or something that you're not proud of, or something that it's like, man, I messed that up. How can I fix it? If you go through something and you don't learn anything from it, you wasted that portion of life. You wasted time, air, and space out of your life. So every hard lesson, success or failure, I try to come away with some lessons so that I don't repeat it.
Very well said, Miss Cindy. And
Awesome.
thank you for empowering women all over the world. You
Thank you so
needed a
much.
big applause for that.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
So you advocate for continuous growth, right? Even
Yes.
after you arrive, what does growth look like for you now at this stage of your journey? What might surprise people?
Listen, I will never say that I've arrived. I strive, I fight, I push, I contend every day. I will
Mm,
never say, even if, let's just say hypothetically, everything my heart's desire is given to me in this very instant, this moment, I will never say that I've arrived. Because when you say that you've arrived, I'm always a work in progress. When you say that you've arrived, that means you know everything. You've learned all that you need to learn. Um, in other words, you're dying. When you're not growing, you're dying a slow, grueling death. So for
true.
me, I'm a lifetime learner. For me, I desire to continue to be teachable. I am still teachable. I learn from a toddler if they're making sense, you
Yes.
know? So for me, I never close myself off and poke my chest out as if to say I've arrived and you need to come where I am. No, listen, I've got some clients that thrive to such a magnitude. I'm not an envious person, never have been, but I will tell them, I said, listen, I need to take pages out of your book.
Hmm.
Yes, I need to take pages out of your book. So I will say, even as an executive coach, even as a leadership development, even with the speaker teaching that I do, I can't say that there, even if it was the person at the door checking my coat or the valet parker, I can learn from anybody. I try each day to learn something new, great or small.
Mm.
So I will never say that I've arrived. even when all of my heart's desires, have are just tangible. I will never say that because I feel like I'm doing myself a disservice to say that I've arrived when I know that I'm still interested in learning. There's so much. The world is constantly changing. It's like an upheaval, constantly changing, new information, new dialogue. And I want to be a part of that. That's how you keep your brain from turning to mush. Keep learning.
Keep learning, people, even you are in the peak of your success. You work with the
Absolutely.
woman to help them find balance. Is the balance
Mhm.
actually achievable, or is it more about knowing which area, mind, body, spirit, or finances needs triage on the way given day?
What happens is a lot of women are stuck. A lot of them are in
True.
hiding. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
them don't, they know in their hearts there's something that they're called to that's greater than what's in front of them, but they don't know how to pursue it, or they don't have the support team to basically support it or to help them break past that veil. So when we talk about the ladies that I work with, some of them are, everyday people that are executives or just have careers. Some of them are stay-at-home moms. Some of them are aspiring entrepreneurs, and some of them are current entrepreneurs. I mean, with so much talent. Either way, the bottom line is you've come to talk about business or why you're stagnant or why you haven't moved or how can you move from here to there or how can I thrive and balance all of these areas. For the ladies that I work with, it boils down to one thing. You're getting a package. We're going to work with your mindsets first because that's where it starts. And then everything else is going to align and make sense for you because now we've reconditioned your thought process about where you are and how you need to move forward. So that's the benefit of the ladies, when I work with them, that's the benefit that they receive is a holistic package. Yes, it's faith-based business, you know, coaching, business entrepreneurs. Yes, it's faith-based because that's your foundation. We got to get instructions from your destiny driver. But I
Mm.
do know as well, it starts in your mind. Your failure or your success starts with you. So we work on that first, and then we also integrate strategic, analysis and principles and strategic ways and practices for them to operate the industry that they're in and to move forward and grow from that state.
To move forward,
Mhm.
definitely. So, Miss Cindy, to wrap up our discussion for today, if you gather every woman you ever coach around a table and ask them one question to provoke their next level of growth, what would that question be?
Who are you?
Hmm.
Who are you outside of your titles, your obligations, your positions, your business? Who are you? Peel away all of that banana peel. The bottom line, foundation. Who are you?
Hmm. Yes, people ask that question, who am I? And I need to learn every day, even I'm in the peak of success or wherever what you're doing right now. Learn to something, learn every day, learn something in every day that you need to advocate, just like Miss Cindy. So, can you please invite our listeners to support your advocacy, your books, your business, or whatever you want to promote on Entrepreneurship 101, Miss Cindy?
I appreciate that. My calendar is wide open for guest speaker events for this year. We've got some more slots. Would love to meet you all in person. But any information that you need, you can find me on social media at the Busy Woman's Cheerleader and also on my website, www.thecindyrand.com. That's www.thecindyrand.com.
Yes, people, that's about Miss Cindy Rand because if you support her, for sure, more and more empowering advocacy for women to rise. So, Miss Cindy, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I've enjoyed it.
Likewise, more to come, people. See you soon.